How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another Mass Effect related video. This one is going to be an in-depth breakdown of the most recent video from Bioware, which focuses upon the weapons and skills. So this is going to be a new series that Bioware will be bringing out, and we learn a lot of information about combat and weapons. So let's break it down. So the first thing that I really noticed in this is just how fluid and fast-paced the combat is. The combat in this game, guys, looks absolutely amazing, and you can definitely see the huge influence of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer in Andromeda, and that is a good thing in my opinion, because Mass Effect 3 was a fantastic multiplayer. So let's talk a little bit about what we learned. Well, first we got to see more about the jetpack, and we actually got to see the jetpack in use, and you can use it in a number of very varied ways. So you can obviously use it to jump out of danger. You can also strafe to the left or right. You can actually use it to hover in the air and shoot from the air in a very stable location, and you can also chain it with abilities like the Nova to do some amazing moves and epic damage. But hilariously, it is still possible to hit your head on ceilings, and I love the fact that they put that in there, which is brilliant. We got to finally see the non-stick cover system in action, and it looks good. I think the idea of doing a non-stick cover system is a good one. It is going to make the gameplay a lot faster, a lot more fluid, and it's going to be very different to previous installments where you pretty much did hunker down for a lot of the combat. We also got to see a little bit of the Nomad. Now, if you can actually hide behind the Nomad and use it as cover, but if you actually pause on this video a little bit, you do actually get to see that there is a hatch that does open as you get closer to the Nomad. And you know, what does this indicate? Maybe it indicates that you don't just teleport into the vehicle like you did in Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 2. Maybe we might have some kind of animation where Ryder and your squad mates will actually physically get into the Nomad. I'm probably sure it's not going to be as epic as Batman's entering the Batmobile, but I like this little touch there. We got to see a lot more about the weapons. Now, weapons are organized into 4 categories, which includes pistols, including submachine guns, assault rifles, shotguns, and sniper rifles, and there also are numerous melee weapons as well. These are all these weapons you can mod, just like in Mass Effect 3, and they are all color-coded into common, uncommon, rare, and N7 or ultra rare. Each weapon has its own levels, similar to in previous installments, and all weapons can actually be dismantled for Omnigel or for parts. There are no restrictions on class types and weapons, and this basically means that they will be available to every player and every type of playstyle. So it's not like, say, Mass Effect 1, where if you were a biotic, you were limited, I think it was to like pistols and SMGs. Only soldiers got to play with all the weapons. So I like the fact that they're not going to do that. Each weapon, as we can see as well, if we zoom in here, has its own unique stats, focusing on things like damage, rate of fire, max clip size, max ammo, accuracy, and the most interesting one at the bottom for me, guys, is weight. So all of the weapons will have weight, and if we actually have a look at some of the screens, it looks like the weight that you carry is going to directly affect your power recharge speed. So you have a maximum of 100%, and obviously the heavier weapons that you equip, the slower your powers will recharge. So exactly like we had in Mass Effect 3. I'm sure there are going to be certain leveling that you can do to reduce the weight size of weapons, as well as mods that you can probably put on there as well to help with that. The most interesting thing for me in this video, though, was talking about the guns and how guns and gear actually fall into 3 technology types. We have the Milky Way weapons, which are basically physical projectile weapons, and these require ammo clips. So very similar, pretty much identical to what we had in Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. And there are some returning favorites as well, including for pistols and SMGs, we have the Carnifex, the Hornet, the Predator, the Phalanx. Shotguns include things like the N7 Crusader, the Katana, the Piranha, which we got to see in the gameplay. Some sniper rifles coming back happily for me is the Black Widow, the Incisor, the Indra, and the N7 Valiant. And then familiar assault rifles include things like the M8 Avenger, the Mattock, the N7 Valkyrie, and the Revenant. Now, a lot of people that played the original trilogy will be happy that these weapons are making an appearance again, and they're definitely going to be a strong sense of nostalgia when we pick up and play these weapons. But what I also like as well is the two new style weapons that are included, which are remnant weapons, which typically use beams, and these have a high rate of fire and are extremely accurate, and I will use the overheat system identical to the one found in Mass Effect 1. So I like the fact that we're getting the choice there, and for those that played Mass Effect 1, this will be incredibly nostalgic. We can see that these weapons have a percentage counter which steadily goes down, and then obviously when it hits 0, I'm sure your weapon then overheats and you have to wait for it to cool down before you can use it again. And these are the remnant weapons, and I really like the look of them. We also have a completely new style of weapon, which is the Helios weapons, and these are based on technology found in the Helios cluster of Andromeda, which is where the first Andromeda game is primarily set. These are plasma based weapons. They're slower, but they do have heat seeking technology, which is very interesting, and they can be used as a single fire, but they can also be charged for more impact and damage. We got to see a little bit more on melee weapons, which look cool. These vary in damage and speed. We have the very strong but slow Krogan hammer, which we all grew to love in the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. The Omni Blade makes a return, which I'm very happy about, and there are some new melee weapons that we got to see, something called an Angaran Firan, I don't know what that is, and an Asari sword, and I am all about the swords, so I want to get myself one of those Asari swords and just have fun, because it sounds epic. But yes, the melee weapons look very fun, and I can't wait to try them all. We've got to see a little bit more about skill classes. Now, there are actually, if you have a look at it, they're split into the 3 categories of tech, combat, and biotic. But if you actually break it down, there are 24 active skills and 12 passive skills that you can use. And these can be equipped in any way you want. So you have complete freedom to develop or level up what you want. Now, if we actually break it down, let's start with combat. There are 6 active skills and 6 passive skills, and combat of course focuses primarily on weapons and gear. Some of the active skills that we got to see include the flak cannon. We got to see a little bit more about grenades, something called an omni grenade, and it seems like it can be leveled into multiple ways. So you can remote detonate the grenade from the looks of it, and it can also be leveled into a sticky grenade which you can attach to enemy troops. We also got to see trip mines, which reminds me a lot of the Garrus's proximity mine. Of course, concussive shot is back, and we also got to read and see a little bit something called a barricade, and this is a kind of a virtual sort of field that you can put up, like a wall that you can put up and sort of duck and hide behind. And I think if you hide behind it, it boosts your damage, but also recharges your shield at a faster rate for both you and your squad mates. Now, how that works, the barricade, whether it takes damage over time, and then obviously once its health bar goes, then it disappears. Whether it's on a timer remains to be seen. There are certain images that it looks like there's a timer going down. In other cases, it stays around for quite a length of time. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not you can spec that in any particular way. And we got to see something called turbocharge, which sounds like a cross between adrenaline rush and marksman. Let's talk a little bit about tech. There are 9 active skills and 3 passive skills in the tech tree. We got to see a little bit more on cryo beam and flamethrower, both of which look great, and we actually got to see invasion and energy drain in use as well. I like what they've done with energy drain. I like the whole like projectile, 3 projectiles that sort of shoot out at the enemy. I think that's really, really cool. And of course, we got to see a little bit more. We got to see, finally got to see an assault turret in use. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to level this assault turret up, probably to be like a flamethrower or a rocket launcher or, you know, that kind of thing. We also got to see the tactical cloak in use. And similar to previous tactical cloaks, obviously, if you're in cloak, it allows you to sort of get out of sticky situations or flank the enemy. And if you obviously shoot or attack from cloak, it does increase the damage that you will do. And finally, of course, we got to see overload in use again, and we actually got to see the secondary use, which is when, you know, you can use it as a one-hit shot, but you can also charge it. And if you charge it, then a bolt of sort of electricity or whatever it might be will shoot off onto 2 separate enemies as well. Now it looks like you can charge that up for quite a length of time, because we got to see them charging the power, and it seemed to go on, you know, a long time. So it'd be quite interesting to see how long you could hold that before you obviously release that ability. So that looked really cool. The tech tree looks very interesting to me, but happily, finally, we got to see more biotic skills. Now there are 9 active skills and 3 passive. Surprisingly, barrier is now a passive skill and will actually give you a 36% boost to your max shield. We got to see pull and throw used in tandem, and pull looks epic. It looks like it's been leveled up so much. We actually got to see Sarah Ryder actually pull an enemy trooper towards her along with an exploding barrel, physically hold that enemy in the air, and then basically redirect them and throw them at the enemy, causing a massive explosion. And it looks like heaps of fun. We also got to see a little bit of annihilation field and singularity in use as well. Interestingly, you can actually prematurely end singularity, so that will be very, very interesting. But I have to say, the biotic abilities are what have me the most excited looking at them. The biotic and the tech is very interesting, because in the Mass Effect trilogy I played a soldier class. My femshep was soldier. That seemed like the sort of canon choice for me, but I am heavily debating playing either as a biotic or as a tech, and I'm going to play as Sarah Ryder in my first playthrough, so I would be very interested to learn what you're gravitating more towards at the moment. We got to see, they talked a little bit more about actual combat, and they talked about the AI and enemy behavior and tactics. So the whole idea that some enemies will choose to keep their distance and will try to snipe you. Some will charge in and try to flush you out of cover or flank your position. So this just makes combat a lot quicker. It feels like combat's a lot faster, a lot more fluid. You can't really hunker down like you could in the original trilogy, where sometimes you literally found yourself hunkering down and sort of surviving wave after wave and just making sure that people didn't flank you. It doesn't look like that's an option in Mass Effect Andromeda. So gameplay movement is going to be a lot fluid, and combat should be a lot quicker and a lot more fun, simply because of the new additions of the jetpack and some of the new abilities. So yeah, combat looks so much fun to me. I'm very, very excited to get my hands on this game and to be checking out that gameplay. We also got to see a little bit where you could give instructions to your companions to target a particular enemy. Now this isn't anything that's new, but what I do like is that this is now clearly visible on screen. We can see 2 symbols that appear above the targeted enemy, and it just shows that these orders are being followed, and I like that visual cue there. It makes it a lot easier for you to play and to see, and I really, really like it. There are a few other things worth mentioning in this video. For example, we got to see 3 environmental hazards, including heat, cold, and radiation. Interestingly, in the gameplay, when we were on sort of a heat environmental hazard world, it seemed that when you went into shade, the danger level went down and your life support replenished, and obviously when you were out in the sun, that's when the hazard would hit in. So that reminds me a lot of the Hailstorm mission where you initially picked up and saved Tali in Mass Effect 2, and I kind of like that. I think that's really interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the environmental hazards. We got to see a couple of squad mate abilities. We saw Liam using his dual wielding Omni Blades, which look epic. We saw Cora using a Nova, and we actually saw, we didn't see him on screen, but we saw from the symbol the new alien companion Jal, who is one of the new races called the Angarans, and he's confirmed as being a companion. We actually got to see Sarah Ryder wearing what looked like some kind of Angaran armor set as well, so that'll be interesting, that you'll obviously pick up new armor sets from the different races that you interact with. So there was a lot of content in this video. There was lots to learn and to take in, and it was really good video. The future installments as well of this series sound very exciting. The next few videos are going to focus on things like profiles, which will be replacing the typical class system, and something called favorites, which I really like the sound of, and I think that's going to be great, and to have sort of set favorite move sets and profiles, and it'll just allow you to have immediate access to particular sets and powers to sort of react to how things are going in game. You know, if you want a more tech heavy character, or more biotic heavy character, or a soldier class, then you're going to be able to very easily and very quickly switch between that. So I really like the whole idea of favorites. I think it's a great idea. As well, we're going to get to see more on squad skills and commands as well, and I'm really looking forward to that. So there was a lot of information in this video. Now I'm sure I've missed some things because there was so much content. Let me know if I missed anything in the comment section below. Please share it with everybody else and with me. I will be back, of course, doing more videos later. Now I'm really enjoying a lot of the marketing so far with Mass Effect Andromeda. I actually think Bioware are doing a very good job, and I like the fact that they're focusing more on the gameplay aspects of it. I don't want to know too much about characters or story. I'm happy to wait for the game to come out to learn about that, but I do like seeing all these new sort of weapons and gameplay mechanics, and it puts a lot of faith in me that this is going to be a good game, that it's going to be fun to play. I know some people are concerned that there is too much focus on combat, and they're concerned that the game's going to become more of an action space adventure rather than an RPG, and I can see where you're coming from, but I have complete faith in Bioware. I do think that they will do a good job with the story and the characters, because they have a good track record of it. You know, obviously the ending of Mass Effect 3 notwithstanding, and there were some, you know, plot hole points and problems in Dragon Age Inquisition. It wasn't a perfect game by any stretch, but I do think they'll do well, and I'm hoping we will get a video on the multiplayer as well. I'd like to see more about that. I want to learn when that beta is hitting, because I want to play that beta, play that multiplayer desperately. I can't wait to get my hands on it to check out all these different combos and gameplay. So anyway, those are my general thoughts on the video. That's everything that we learned. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, if you found it interesting. Share it with your friends. Subscribe if it's the first time that you've come across one of my videos and you enjoyed it and would like to see more. Anyway guys, take care. I'll be back with more Mass Effect Andromeda related news and information later. More Mass Effect lore videos planned for the future as well, once I get this big move done this weekend. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming.